Okay, so we're going to begin. We're holding chapter Mem Tet, chapter 49, Tehilim. Not such a long perek, but it's a chapter with many important messages, Mesarim Chashuvim, about wealth, about the pitfalls of wealth. Those who emphasize money. All they think about all day long is how to make more and more money. And they don't focus on the more important thing in life, is how to be a better person, which ultimately is the common goal, or should be the common goal of all of humanity, not just the Jewish people, to be better people, to be a human being as was intended, created in the image of God. Lem Natzeach Livnei Korach Mizmor. This one is also a song for the conductor by the sons of Korach. And it's interesting that the sons of Korach are composing this or discussing this because their father, in some ways, nichshal, he failed. He made many mistakes as a result of his tremendous fortune, his wealth. Haya ashir gadol. And because of that, sometimes money drives people crazy or drives them to do things that are very, very wrong. And they don't even realize it because they're so rich. They can't even think for a moment if what they're doing is right or wrong. So therefore, in this perek we will see in prose, in a poetic form, many messages of how it's so vain and how it's really silly and nonsensical to pursue money by thinking that this will be something that will bring you some benefit, long-lasting benefit, where in fact life is so short. So what will this money do for you afterwards? But people don't think about afterwards, that they will die. They think about now, they think they will live forever. So he says as follows. David HaMelech is including this chapter in his book Tehilim, so he's the one that is expressing some of these messages. Shimu zot kol ha'amim ha'azinu kol yoshvei Chalid. Hear this, all you peoples meaning Jews and non-Jews, all you inhabitants of the world. Ha'azinu kol yoshvei Chalid. Yoshvei Chalid, as we mentioned before, is a description of those who are still alive, those who are in this world, in this physical world. Listen to what I have to say, because it's a real shame that people put more emphasis on a passing world, on a temporary world, instead of their permanent place in the world to come, in the eternity. How could it be that people put more emphasis or give more importance to that which is transitory, that which comes and goes and won't last forever, instead of investing in eternity? They don't think about it. So listen, humanity. Everyone can gain from this, regardless of who you are, what nationality you belong to. This message applies to all. Gam b'nei Adam, gam b'nei ish yachad ashir ve'evyon. Everyone, whether you are sons of common folk, simple people, b'nei Adam, or the sons of nobility, b'nei ish. That's one interpretation of the difference between b'nei Adam and b'nei ish. B'nei Adam is simple, average people. B'nei ish is even the nobility, right? Kings and princes, yachad ashir ve'evyon, rich and poor alike. Some say b'nei Adam is describing those children of Abraham, and b'nei ish, those children of Noach. Some say it's b'nei Adam is from Adam HaRishon, b'nei ish later on the Jewish nation. Different interpretations as to who this message is addressed to. But regardless, he says it applies to everyone, including ashir ve'evyon, the rich and poor. Why the poor? Because the poor are sometimes very sad and even envious of why the rich people supposedly have more money than they do. They may have more cash, but it doesn't mean they're happier. It doesn't mean they're better. So this message, this perek, is addressed to all of humanity, to every class. Pi yidaber chochmot vehagut libi tevunot. My mouth speaks of wisdom, and the thoughts of my heart are understanding. A lot of what he's saying here, he's putting together, is divinely inspired. this tremendous chokhmah, that which he has in his heart, is divinely inspired. It is also something that he saw from experience, of course. And this is chokhmah. This is wisdom. This is something that everyone should pay attention to. This is not just good advice. This is what life is all about. However, what's interesting about how he presents this is Pasuk Hey. In verse 5 he says, Atel lemashal uzni, eftach bechinor chidati. I incline my ear to the mashal, to the parable, and I will unravel the riddle upon my harp. What he's saying is that he is presenting the messages in the form of a riddle, in the form of a parable. He's expressing these messages in a way that people can understand them and not be afraid and not run away from it. So he does it with a kinor, with a harp. Some of the commentaries say that David HaMelech used to do that when he used to rebuke, mochiach, et bnei Adam, when he used to rebuke the people and tell them off, remind them of their faults. He used to do that many times with a kinor, with the harp, with music. In this way, people would not be as nervous. People would not be as afraid. They would listen. So it could be that this method or this approach of giving your book is more effective. People are willing to listen when there is music, when the things are being said with a beautiful story or a parable, mashal, that they can relate to. So that is what he's saying. I'm saying this with a mashal, and I'm doing this with a kinor. And now he begins. Lama ira bimei ra, avon akevai yesubeni. Why should I be afraid of times of trouble? Or why should I be afraid in times of trouble? Well, one reason to be afraid is because the sins that I step on, that I trod upon, surround me. What is he talking about here? What's bimei ra? Bimei ra could either be bizman shel tzarot, during times of troubles, during times of trouble, whether it's war or illness. The avonot, the sins that one has committed once upon a time that he has never corrected or repented for, they surround him. They can accuse him. It's not a good idea for a person to go to the doctor, for example, for a major surgery, and he hasn't taken care of business. What business? Paid off all his debts with Hashem, with God. He says, you want my favor now? Even though the doctor is going to help you, but in reality that doctor is dependent on me. You want me to help you? Then you want to make sure that you've done teshuvah, that you've repented, that you're clean, that you paid up all your debts, that there should be no avonot, there should be no sins, yesubeni, that are surrounding me. So bimei ra, mami mayesh lefached, what should I be afraid of bimei ra, during times of tzarot? Or bimei zikna, when we are older. When we are older, what happens to most people when they're older? They become sick. They become weak. And they're not as strong as they were before. Because of that, they have reason to fear. He says, this is something to fear. Why is he saying this right now? He's going to be talking about wealth. He's going to be talking about the fortunes that people are trying to make, working hard to make. Why does he tell us this is something that I'm concerned about? Because he wants to remove from our mind any fears about money, any fears about how will I retire, how will I have enough money during my later years. Even though that is legitimate, it is okay for someone to think about it, to put away and to save, but that's not the most important concern. After all, we believe in mazal, we believe in destiny. We know that Hashem gives us what we need. We have to try our best, of course, to work and get a job and occupy ourselves. But in the end, how much a person makes or how much money he will have, akol mazal. It's all part of his mazal. What is up to him and not up to his mazal is his avonot, his conduct, his behavior, how he treats people if he's respectful of others, if he's God-fearing or not, if he committed sins or good deeds. That's something that he should be afraid of. That's something that he should be concerned about. Did he correct his mistakes in the past? What's the past? The youth. We make mistakes when we're young. We didn't know any better. We weren't as smart. The older we get, hopefully we become more experienced. Hopefully we're more intelligent and we have more clarity. So hopefully at that time, we've already corrected our mistakes. We did teshuvah. Person that does not do teshuvah, he has what to fear. Lama ira b'mei ra. You want to know why I am afraid during the times of trouble or during the times of illness, during the time of my later years? Ki avona keva yisubeni. This is a reason to be concerned, because those sins that I trod upon, those sins that are still around, they surround me. They may give me a hard time. Rabbis also tell us in this pasuk that the avonot, that a person dash be'akaviav, the sins that a person continuously used his heels to trod upon. In other words, that he was careless. He didn't pay attention to them. He was disrespectful, didn't take them seriously. Those avonot, they surround him liyom adin. When he comes before justice in the heavens, they will surround him. They will accuse him. So that is something to be concerned about, and not to just leave for the later years to fix. We need to correct them as soon as possible and not wait. Otherwise, they stand in the way and they give us a hard time. And now he goes to his main message. And this he's going to describe as a tremendous folly, a tremendous mistake that people make. He says it's so silly for people to repeatedly make the same mistake, generation after generation. Habotachim al chilam uverov oshram hitalalu. You want to know one of the biggest mistakes that people make? Those who rely on their wealth, on their riches, and who boast of their great riches. They boast, hemidgaim. In other words, they're so confident. Now that they have all this money in the world, money is power, money will give them everything they want. It's not true. First of all, who says it's going to last? How long does the human being spend in this world? How long does he live? And even if he lives for a long time, who says he will get to enjoy all of it? Maybe it will be taken away from him. Maybe he will be too sick to enjoy it. Give him $1 million. What if he's sick? It won't help him. Right? Sometimes it's better to be healthy and not have too much money than to have all the money in the world but not be able to enjoy it. So look at this individuals. Look at these people who are botchim al-hilal, who rely on their fortune, who rely on their money, and who boast. They think it's going to last. They think it's going to stay around forever. He says like this, the next pasuk, "Ach lo fado yifdei ish lo yiten Elohim kofro." When it comes to the end of life, person is about to leave this world, then not even a brother can help you to redeem you. Not even a brother, one's closest relative, can redeem him or can help him. Ish lo yiten lelokim kofro. No man can give Hashem, can give God ransom. Ransom. In other words, I want to stay. I don't want to go. I don't want to die. Could you give ransom? Could you bribe? Could you pay the angel of death something? Leave me alone. Give me another 5 minutes to live? No. It will not help. A man cannot redeem his brother at that time, nor can he pay ransom to God. It's too late. Ransom? Kofer? Yes, when you're younger. You can pray, you can fast, you can give charity. That form of ransom you can do earlier on in life, and it could be helpful. But to do it right before a person dies, Rak rega, wait a minute, I changed my mind, I want to be good now. Take some money. No, it's too late. So, ach lo pado yivdei ish There's no pidyon nefesh. You can't ransom someone. You can't redeem him at that point. It's just too late. What could help a person when he leaves this world? What is something that will be beneficial for him? What is something that he takes with him? Ma'asav tovim, his good deeds. So there's a beautiful mashal that is brought down, nice, very nice parable, of someone who had 3 friends. 3 friends. And he thought that they were very close, good friends. He thought like that. One day he hears that the king calls him to come immediately. And he's afraid. The king calls. Obviously, he's going to want to audit him. He's going to have many questions for him. He's going to interrogate him about something he did or did not do right. So he needs help. So he asks friend number 1, please come with me and help me. Please be there for me. I can't be there by myself. He says, you know how to talk. You can defend me. This friend was very, very afraid. He says, no, I'm sorry. We're good friends, but this not. This is not for me. I don't want to go. I'm very, very sorry. I wish you the best. So he goes to his second friend. Friend number 2, please help me. You're a good friend. I was good to you. He says, I can only go with you till the palace. Inside the palace, in front of the king, I don't want to go with you. I'm too afraid. But I will go with you till the palace. So he approaches the third friend. And this third friend, he didn't really befriend too much. He didn't really invest in the friendship so much. He was a little bit friendly with him. He asked him, can you do me a favor and come with me to the king? He says, of course, I'll go with you. All the way to the king. And you don't worry, I'll speak for you. I'll take care of it. You don't have any reason to worry. Psst. This one who he didn't really think was such a good friend, this one who he didn't really value his friendship with, he's the one that's offering to go. That's very interesting. But this is the story of life. The rabbis tell us, who's the first friend? A person's money. The money will not go with you la kever. It will not go with you to the grave. You need help. That money will not help you in the grave. He says, I'm sorry, I can't go with you. You're going and I'm staying behind. The money doesn't go to the grave. The money was his best friend. He worked so hard to make the money. Not to the grave. You go yourself. I'm staying behind. Who is the second friend? His family. His relatives, brothers, sisters. I'm sorry, we can't go with you to the grave. We don't want to. It's your time to go. But we'll go with you to the funeral. We'll go with you to the cemetery. Up to the grave. But not inside the grave. So, the family, his second good friend, close. Not as much as the money, but close. They don't want to go inside the grave. They can't. They're afraid. Comes the third friend who should have been his best friend, but he was not so good to him. His ma'asim tovim, his mitzvot, his good deeds, his Torah. I will speak for you. I will go with you. V'alach lefanecha tzidkecha, the verse says. All your righteousness will go before you. It will get there before you even arrive. It will be there for you. It will defend you. It will speak up for you. You have no reason to worry if you have that kind of a friend. The friend that most people do not give enough attention to are the good deeds that they can perform in this world while they're still alive. This friend can help you the most. All the money that you befriended, all the family that you may have, no matter how good they were, they can't help you in the grave. They can't help you in the time of justice. So who's the true friend? Ma'asav tovim shel adam, the good deeds that one performs in this world. Pasuk tet. But what really happens is that v'yikar pidyon nafsham v'chada le'olam. The redemption of their soul is too costly. It's too costly. In other words, it's not possible. V'chada le'olam. And forever unattainable. It's not possible to get a pidyon now. How could you do teshuvah? When a person is dead, it's no longer possible. And even if he's not dead, maybe he's in a coma, maybe he's not physically fit, he can't do anything anymore. While a person is healthy, kozman neshama bikirbi, so long as the neshama, the soul is within me, I'm still alive, I can pray, I can give thanks to Hashem, I can be friendly, I can be good to people, I can do good deeds. While you are alive, that's the time to do it. While you're healthy and you have your strength, do as much as you can. Later on, when you become sick, later on when you're close to leaving this world, it won't be possible. You may even forget. And the death can be like this, without warning. Some people have a warning, a couple weeks, a couple months, a couple years in advance. They know they're going. Not everybody has that advantage. You can't push it off. Otherwise, at that moment, yekar pidyon nafsham. It's too costly. It's not attainable to get a pidyon, a ransom, to be redeemed at that point. V'chi od lanetzach lo yirah shachat. It's really a question. Is it possible for one to live forever and lo lirot et hashachat, not to see the grave? V'chi od lanetzach. Is it possible he will continue living just forever? Everybody dies. After a certain amount of time in this world, that Hashem decided how many years, that's it. Yahi od lanetzach, could a person live on forever and not see the grave? Pay attention, he says. Look what has happened to the past. Look what has happened to those who were before you. Whether they were smart and whether they were wealthy. כי יראי חכמים ימותו, יחד כסיל בבער יאבדו, ועזבו לאחרים חילם. Though he sees that the wise man die, he sees it. And the fool and the senseless both perish, leaving their wealth to others. He sees this. He saw this happening, that multi-millionaires, billionaires, they died. What happened to the money? Did they take it inside the grave and use it? No. All of these people who lived before, who were chachamim, they were wise. And there were others who were fools. They're all in the same place. They're in the ground. And the money was left behind. Their money was taken by other people. It could have been taken by lawyers. It could have been taken by doctors. It could have been taken by children who don't deserve it. It could have been taken by thieves, by the government. The money is with others. So what did they accomplish? Alchu, they left. Can't you see what happened to all? It's the same kind of fate. They all die and they leave the money behind. So money cannot be that which we need to pursue with such vigor. In other words, that's not something that we need to emphasize. It's not the most important thing in life. You will leave it behind anyway. קרבם בתמה לעולם, משכנותם לדור ודור, קראו ושמותם עלי אדמות. Okay, so what are these people thinking? No, gotta make money anyway. Lots of money. You know why? Because kirbam, inside of themselves, in other words, their inner thoughts, deep down, what are they thinking? They're thinking like this. Batemo le'olam. Hopefully, their house will last forever. In other words, they won't die so young. And you know what happens even if they do die? Mishkenotam ledor vador. Then it could very possibly be that their dwellings, their homes, will go to their children, to the next generation, ledor vador. And what happens if the children are no longer around? Still, kareu bishmotam alei adamot. They have proclaimed their names throughout the lands. In other words, maybe there will be a plaque, as a sheled, on some building that will remind everybody who they were and their name. So these people are still focused on making money because they think, well, something will remain forever. Otherwise, how do you explain it, he says? That they see everybody else going and leaving behind the money. Because at the time they're making the money, they're thinking, well, if I don't get to use it, my children, and if not my children, there will be some plaque, some maskeret for their name. And here, what is David HaMelech doing? He's making fun of all these individuals and comparing them to animals. Because what is an animal? An animal is not a human being. An animal does not think or reflect, analyze the situation properly. And if one does not do that, if one does not analyze his life properly, carefully, he's behaving like an animal. What does an animal do? He eats, drinks, goes to rest or sleep, whatever. That's it. That's exactly what the human being is doing if he doesn't use his head. If he doesn't realize that he has a neshama, a soul, that is here for a certain mission that he needs to accomplish. If he doesn't think about his mission and his purpose in life, then he behaves or acts like an animal, which is what he says in the next pasuk. V'adam bikar bal yalin nimshal ka behemot nidbu. But man will not repose. Yalin means to repose, to go to sleep, or to leave this world, bikar, in glory. Whatever glory he had, bal yalin, that does not go with him to the grave. Nimshal ka behemot nidbu, you want to know what he's like when he dies? He's just like an animal who is silenced. An animal does not talk, does not have the ability of speech. The human being, once he's in the ground, he cannot do anything. So all that yakar, Adam bi'ikar, bal yalin, it doesn't accompany with him. It doesn't go with him. If anything, he's just like the animal. He stops talking. Zedarkam keselamo v'harehem befihem yirtzu sela. This is the way, this is their way. Their folly remains with them. In other words, they never change. People always believe they're going to make it. They're going to have lots of money. They're going to be successful. Zedarkam. This is the way they think, not just today, even 1,000 years ago. The same thing, the same psychology, the same attitude. This is the kesel lamo. This is the folly, shigaon, kislut, the folly that is within them. Ve'acharehem befihem yirtzu sela. And their descendants, after them, acharehem, befihem yirtzu sela, they will want the same things forever. This is an approximate translation. That the people who come after them, their descendants, their children, grandchildren, you think they're going to change, be any different? No, it's so sad that the same mistakes repeat themselves over and over, even though the children they see what happened to their parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. They had all this money and they're no longer here. What's going to be with all the billions of dollars they made? Nothing. If they didn't use the money to do the right things in life, then it's such a waste of a life. It's not easy to have the nisayon ha'osher, the test of wealth. Nisayon ha'oni, the test of poverty, is easier. It's also hard, but it's easy because a person who has the test of wealth, he can become a bal gava, an arrogant person. He can be very cruel to the poor and not sympathetic. He can be stingy, not give charity. He has a big yetzer hara, big evil inclination, very, very strong. Just because he has millions of dollars, but for him it's like me giving 10 cents. Right? For people who are millionaires, for them to give $1,000, it's like for us to give 10 cents. No big deal. You think it's easy for them? No, their hands are tight, clenched. Oh, no, it's not so easy. The more money a person has, the bigger his yetzer hara, his evil inclination is. And you look at this. This is what he's describing. Generation after generation, time after time. Otama ta'uyot, the same mistakes everybody makes. Zedarkam keselamo. This is the mistake that they make, thinking that they will have it forever. Rabbis tell us that a human being has free will. An animal does not. The human being is the Nezer HaBriyah, is the crown of creation. He's very special. But he could be like an animal if he does not use his free will properly. Rabbis go on to say that this human being who does not use his free will properly, but behaves like an animal, a wild animal can rule over him, can attack him. Why? Because when an animal sees a human being in the image of God, it knows this is not on my menu. He's the crown of creation. It stays away from him, it leaves him alone. When does a wild animal attack? When it thinks you appear to her as another animal. Oh, this is just another animal. So it wants dinner. It goes and attacks. Obviously, unless you step on it or you threaten it, and we're not talking about those kind of situations, but just to be attacked by a wild animal, if the human being had the image of God on him, a wild animal will never attack him. Like the story of Daniel Begovarayot, Daniel in the lion's den. The lions were not fed for who knows how many days. They were hungry. Lo nagubo, they didn't touch him. Why not? Because he had the Tzevelem Elokim, the image of God on him. Many stories of righteous people who were thrown into lion's den, into the den of wild animals, and the animals didn't touch them. So it all depends if the human being behaves like an animal or behaves like a human being is supposed to behave. Another interpretation of this last pasuk about the yakar, that a person has, the special power, the special characteristics or special virtues that the human being has over the animals, is that if he does not exercise them and use them properly to control his evil inclination, that is when he's compared to an animal. And it was the yakar, that which is valuable to the person. What's valuable? His neshama, his soul. Chelek Elokam Imal, it's a part of God in him. If he doesn't use that power properly, then he's really not any better, any more than an animal. But as we said, Zedarkam keselamo. This is the folly that so many people have, is that they just don't focus. They don't think about what is really important, how they are different than animals. And what will happen in the future to them? Katzon lish'ol shatu mavet yir'em vayirdu bam yesharim laboker v'tzuram levalot she'ol mizevulo. This is a little bit of a lengthy pasuk. I'll try my best to translate it. Katzon lish'ol, like sheep, they are destined to the grave. You know, the sheep you take to the corral, you gather them. So the wicked, those people who did not fulfill their mission properly, they're taken like the sheep, lish'ol, to the grave. Lish'ol shatu, in other words, they are destined for the grave. Mavet yir'em, the death, the angel of death, will be their shepherd. In other words, he will take them. He will manage them. He will handle them in the afterlife. Vayirdu bam, and they will be controlled. By who? Vayirdu bam yesharim laboker. The righteous will control them. The righteous will dominate them. When? At the light of the morning. The light of the morning is the Geulah, the redemption. When the redemption comes, the righteous will be on top, not the rich and famous. And it will become clear who is righteous. It will become clear who's on top. When will this be laboker? So in the meantime, they are taken to the grave. In later on, when Mashiach comes, in the boker, they will be dominated by the Yesharim. But that's not the end. V'tzuram levalot she'ol mizevulo. and their tsuram, their form or their soul, will not be around forever. They will pretty much spend all their time in Sheol, in the grave, mizvulo, not having another domain, not having another abode, not having a chelek olam haba, a share to the world to come necessarily, depending on, of course, what they did wrong. Because one's deeds make for him an abode in the upper world. But if you do not work, if you do not earn something in this world, what are you going to have? The wicked are naked. They have nothing. Empty. You have to earn your world to come. So what are they going to have? All they're going to have is the grave. Here David HaMelech expresses his wish that he doesn't want to be taken by the angel of death. He wants to be redeemed by Hashem. God will redeem my soul from the hands of the grave. Here, David HaMelech is emphasizing sheyesh hasharat hanefesh, that there is something like the survival of the soul. The soul continues to survive even after a person dies. It continues to exist, especially those that were connected to Hashem during their lifetime. They will be redeemed or taken by Hashem and drawn to the Shekhinah. They will be attracted to this entity that we call the Shekhinah, which is the divine light of Hashem, that many people testify that they saw in a near-death experience. So he wants to be redeemed from the grave. He doesn't want to stay in the grave. He doesn't want to stay in a place of darkness forever. He wants to be taken by Hashem for eternity. And now he turns to those who are concerned or envious of the rich. Al tira ki ashir ish ki yarbe kevod beto. Don't fear when a man grows rich or when the glory of his house is increased. You would like to have what he has. You're sad. You're envious. You're upset that other people are richer than you. No. Don't be fearful of that. Don't consider that this individual is in any way better than you. Don't be afraid of it. Ki lo bemoto yikach hakol. When he dies, he will take nothing. That in itself should assure you that this individual, what he has, doesn't add up to too much if he doesn't use it right. He's not going to take it with him, like we said before. Lo yired acharav kevodo. All that kavod, all that honors that you see that he has, lo yired acharav. It's not going to go with him. He's going to be buried in shrouds like everybody else, in a coffin, well, maybe a little bit more of an expensive coffin if he wants to. 6 feet under the ground, nothing else. The same thing like everybody else. Don't be sad, don't be upset, don't be envious of such an individual. There's nothing for you to fear that he's better than you or you did something wrong. No, it has nothing to do with that. First of all, just remember, whatever he has right now, he's not taking with him. There is a story in the Gemara of an individual, Tana, who had a near-death experience. Walala Shamayim. People thought that he passed away. He went up to heaven, but then he came back. In other words, he recovered. And I think it was his father who asked him, what did you see? He says, you know what? I saw something very strange, an upside world. Olam hafuch. Those people who are very, very high here in this world, up there, they're at the bottom. Those people who are very low here, over there, they are on the top. So his father tells him, you did not see Olam hafuch. You saw a good, right world the way it's supposed to be, the true world. What you see here is a sheker. What you see here is make-believe. You perceive things, but this is not the reality. People who are on top here, and rich, and in positions of honors, they're not necessarily good people. Not necessarily. These people, a lot of them, not all of them, some of them are good people, if they do good things. But a lot of the people who you see rich and famous, over there on top, they're very low. Nobody looks at them. The ones who are low and simple, and in pain and in suffering, many of them in the upper world, because of their deeds, their righteousness, they are on top. Hem tzadikim, they're righteous. So therefore, don't be misled by what you see in this world. After all this that he has here, whether it's money or kavod, he's not going to take with him. Unless, of course, that money that he has in this lifetime, he used to give charity with. That's different. Then all that money was put to good use. Then that will be a tremendous merit for him in the afterlife. So don't be envious of such an individual, because even if the person is doing the right thing, you know what kind of a challenge he has in a struggle? Milchama. He's doing battle with the evil inclination all the time. So it's not a simple life to have a lot of money. It's very, very challenging. Ki nafsho bechayav yevarech v'yoducha ki tetiv lach. For he alone praises himself in his lifetime, but all will praise you if you better yourself. Talking about the Rasha, the evil person, the person that doesn't do the right thing. Nafsho bechayav yevarech. He's so glad and so happy that he is who he is with all his money. But who's convincing him of that? Who is praising him? He himself. Nafsho bechayav yivarech. But you were not necessarily as rich as him, but you were a good person. Yoducha ki tetiv lach. They will praise you when you better yourself. In other words, if you do the right thing, you're a good person, they will continue to praise you not only in this world, but even in the world to come. That kind of acknowledgement is more important than when a person is happy for himself. Big deal. So he has money. Nobody cares about it if he's not a good person. But a person who's good with others, who does good things, kitetiv lach, when you better yourself, you refine your character, you work on your midot, that is something that people will be yuducha. They will praise you for it. That is something that will continuously be with the individual, even after his death. Like the Pasuk says, the verse says, Zecher tzaddik livracha. The zecher, the memories of the righteous person are always a blessing. People talk about the good deeds of someone. Nobody wants to remember the wicked and the evil. Who cares how much money they had? They're no longer alive. They're no longer alive. But a person who has been so nice and kind to others, they remember him forever. Zecher tzaddik livracha. He's always a blessing. So that's what's important, that people should thank you, should praise you during your lifetime and after your death. When will that be? If you were good, if you were kind. That's more important. Okay, let's just finish the last two pesukim. Tavo ador avotav ad netzach lo yir'u or. He will come to the generation of his forefathers, and they shall not see the light for all eternity. During a person's life, he doesn't see what happens to people, what has happened to them after they leave this world. We're not aware. Later on, when we pass in this world, we will get to see. Tavo ador avotav. You will be able to come and see to the generation of his forefathers. You will be able to see everyone, what has happened to them. You will see, ad netzach lo yir'u or, that forever and forever, for eternity, they will not see light. You will see the end result of all those who were evil, all those who did not do any good, who all they thought about was accumulating wealth. You will see later on. Now you don't see it. How long do we live? We see a person making money, building a big mansion. That's it. We don't see what happens to him later on in the afterlife, what happens to his children, what happened to his grandparents, great-grandparents. We don't see the whole picture. Later on, when we leave this world, Tavo ador avotav, you will come to understand and see what has happened to all these people is that they never see the light for eternity. They never get to enjoy or reap the reward for their deeds because they don't have any good deeds. Unless, of course, a person has some good deeds. But we're talking about somebody who did not do anything good. And finally, Adam bikar velo yavin. This is what a shame. A person has bikar. He has a very, very special and precious asset. His understanding, his capacity to understand and to reflect and to analyze. Still lo yavin. He doesn't understand what he's here for. He doesn't take the time to ask himself, Rega, wait a minute, why did Hashem put me down here? What is the purpose of all of this? What is the purpose of life? Why do some people have money and some people don't have any money? Why are some people smart and other people not so smart? How come some people are so good and kind and other people are so wicked? There's a lot of good questions. Ask, think about it, reflect on them. You have the ability to do so. Don't be like an animal who's not attentive as much, not able to reflect. Adam bi'ikar. Man can live in glory. In other words, man can have the ability to use that which is so special in him. But he does not understand. Why? Nimshalka behemot nidbu. Nimshalka behemot nidbu. He's likened to the silenced animals. Well, that's the way he's treating himself. We have free will. We have something special, something glorious that Hashem gave mankind that animals don't have. So he basically ends this chapter with the same thing he said pretty much before. It is the folly and the mistakes that people make repeatedly by not taking the time to think and to reflect. What's this all about? That which we call life. Is it about making more and more money? It can't be, because you leave it behind. So what's important in life? What did he start saying? This message is for all of humanity, not just for the Jewish people. So to end, I saw a beautiful parable that goes approximately like this. There was an individual who knew that he's going to be traveling to many countries. So he has to learn French, because he's stopping in France. And eventually, he has to learn English, because the last stop is the United States of America. So he took all the time to learn only French. And he did good. He came to France, he was able to speak fluently, he was able to get around, he enjoyed himself. But he didn't realize that he has another stop, which is really the final stop, where he's going to be spending a lot more time. He forgot all about it. He only occupied himself with the French. So when he came to America, he began to speak French. Nobody understood him. Neither did he understand everybody else. What's going on here? He says, sorry, here it's English. What's going on here? What's the message here? It's very simple. People learn the language of this physical world. You know what they say? Here, money talks. Here, this is the language. They don't realize that upstairs, money does not talk. Over there, they speak another language. Did you learn that language? The language of Olam Haba, of the world to come, is mitzvot ma'asim tovim. It's good deeds. It's performing God's commandments. It's complying with the Torah, to be a good person. That's the language that people don't spend enough time learning. That's what they should learn. The rest is just a temporary stop. Who cares so much about it? So you don't have so much money. So you do as best as you can. You try, but don't overdo it. People emphasize, the problem is too much emphasis, too much dagesh on money in this world, the physical world, and they forget. That's the folly, zashtut, that he was talking about, the kislut, the ksilut of wasting a person's time in trying to do that which will not give him any benefit whatsoever in the world to come. Unless, of course, you use the money in the right way. So the bottom line message here is don't be distracted by what you see, because it's the same mistake that people make over and over again. These are people who do not take time to reflect and to think, and they act like animals. Many of them behave like animals. What they have that is so different than the animals, they don't use the free will to use it properly, to do Hashem's will in this world. They completely forget about it. Obviously, this is all atzat yetzer. Obviously, this does not just happen by itself. This is all as a result of the evil inclination, Yetzer Hara, doing his job to mislead us. We're being continuously misled, and it's a big struggle. Take, therefore, the time to think. And that is what the human being does have, but he doesn't use enough. His brains. Stop and think. Who are you? What's so special about you? How are you different than an animal? What really matters in life? And what really matters in life is not money. It's being a good person, being righteous, and doing the will of Hashem. The segula of this perek is lekadahat. Whoever has fevers, whoever is not feeling well, perek mem tet, chapter 49, is a very strong perek that will hopefully help those people who need a remedy to all kinds of ailments that are very difficult to treat. So this could be very helpful, B'ezrat Hashem, to all those who need it. Amen.